Today's video is going to deal with this CMT hinge drilling machine mounted on my drill press. It really works well. This is the kind of an adapter you can put on your drill press, and you can drill holes all day long and really move along fast. This is what you'll find in the box, although it will not include the orange bits that you see here that I've installed. And in fact, you may decide not to use these 8mm bits. You can use this CMT drilling machine with a 2mm bit in this position. My preference would be to use these smaller bits and just pilot for screw holes, rather than using the 8mm bit and then drilling for hinge downs. I would suppose that if you want to put it in the simplest possible terms, there's really only three things in this box. A 35mm bit, which you see here, a drilling head, which you see here, and this is the support base here. So those are primarily, that's what you have, but it's got to be assembled. There's a couple of things that have to be put together. This is a guide for you setting your drilling distance. This is a base that's supplied with the tool, a wooden base. My suggestion here is, this is 9/16 of an inch thick. The book says it's a 1/2 inch. Well, it isn't a 1/2 inch, and it ain't 5/8. So this is not a good thickness for the base. I suggest use this base as a template to make a different one, and then make a big one that'll fit on your drill press. Would you like to see what I made to replace this diminutive, minuscule, weensy teensy little piece of wood that came in the box? Right here. Here's what I made. And I took that little piece of wood and I drew a square on here and used it as a template and drilled holes, and this is the piece of wood I replaced that other one with in order to make my jig. I love it a lot. Then I just clamped it right down here to my worktop on my workbench, and you see all the rest in the video. So here are the components. Let's put it together. This is the base, wooden base, that I'm suggesting that you use it as a template to make a different base, make a full size one. Now be careful. Right here, in this spot, are two little pins. They might fall out and be laying in the box loose like that. They go in here. This is an alignment pin for putting the head on this. Let's put the head on next. We're going to line up those pins. Now our drilling head is on there accurately. They provide these screws right here. Now our drilling head is attached to the base. Take a look here. This is adjustable up and down because it regulates your drilling depth for your bits. So once the bits are in, this is your adjustment for how deep you're going to drill with those bits. This piece right here is the plate that you use for setting your drilling distance. And the rod goes in here. See that hole right there? It goes in here. There. And this is a set screw for when you are adjusting your drilling distance. You loosen this, push this out as far as you want to adjust your drilling distance. There. And these two, well, they're sort of extra. There is a suggestion by the manufacturer that you can procure some 3/8 inch rods and stick them in here and use them for a fence. You'll have to make that decision on your own. I got different ideas about that. And here is the 35mm bit that goes in here. Right in here. Now you have your assembled CMT drilling jig for drilling the 35 millimeter hole for the hinge cup on a European hinge. What I want to demonstrate first is using a handheld battery-powered drill to see if I can push drill a hinge hole and 8 millimeter holes for hinges. So I'm going to give that a try. Let's take a look at that right now. We are drilling by hand with an electric drill. I think so. I have sharp bits and electric drill. Let me give this another try. I don't think this is going to work with an electric drill, a battery operator. As you can see, I created my own table here. I use some pretty fancy wood. You could get by with melamine. I used that little wooden block, or that little piece they sent as a template to put the drill holes in this. I clamped my new table to the workbench on my drill press, and I adjusted this rod for my drilling depth. So when I put this down, it's going to hit there and not drill all the way through my door. So there's my adjustment rod for drilling depth, and it's pretty much ready to go. So let's watch this drilling procedure. We're using 8 millimeter left-hand bits here and a 35 millimeter bit here, and we're going to drill through this chunk of wood here. I think this looks real nice. Nice clean hole in the material. It cut fairly easy. I think this was a nice test. I want to drill another one with the 8 millimeter bit. Now we're going to drill holes using 2 millimeter bits here, pilot holes for wood screws, instead of 8 millimeter bits for dowels. So there you are. This drilling machine, it is a beauty. I love this machine. It works really well. Now I did 3 of these holes here with the pilot holes for screws instead of the dowels. This is my choice, but you have to make up your mind. Do you want to use dowels, or do you want to use pilot holes for wood screws? Now I'm going to cobble up a fence so that we can make adjustments to our drilling distance. To me, the most common would be a 3 or a 5 is the most common. And we'll set up for a 3. Well, as I mentioned, I was going to cobble up a fence for this CMT hinge drilling machine. My wife says I can't say cobble anymore. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to confangle a fence instead of cobble one. So the first thing I do is of course I mount this CMT drilling machine to the new base that I fabricated, and then I have to clamp the base to the table on the drilling jig, and I'm using the Bessie Clicks clamp to do that. I really like these Clicks clamps. Let me just see how nice that works, and then I just tighten it. Now my table's nice and firm. It isn't going anywhere. So the next thing is I have to take a piece of lumber. And this piece of lumber that you're looking at right here is 4.5 inches wide. And as you can see, I cut a notch in it. This hole is a little over 2 inches deep, a notch that I cut. It actually goes around the CMT drilling machine, coming in from behind. So let's watch how I do that. I cut this piece out of one piece of lumber, and the reason I like using one piece of lumber is this is straight and continuous all the way through. It's all attached together like that. I cut the piece, I mount it on the board, and then I take any straight piece of wood. Here's one, and I have this fence already set for 3 millimeters. Then I press up against here and pull my fence up against that. Now I use another Clicks clamp. I put that right here. And now my fence is fastened on this side. And I take another Clicks clamp, make sure I'm tight, because I've got this fence here set at 3 millimeters. And I'm tight. So now I use another Clicks clamp. And I fasten her down. That's a really nice fit. Now, whenever I drill, I'm guaranteed that I'm going to have 3 millimeters. I have a nice fence. My door will slide back and forth without getting caught because I used one continuous piece of wood, and I've got nice flow through here. So that's my fence. In fact, I'm going to have another video on how to build a little bit better fence for the CMT drilling machine. So what I'm going to do here is drill several holes. I've set this for 3 millimeters. It won't be hard for me to change it because I have clamps if I want to move to 5 or to 6. It should not be hard to do. I also have this set for 3. So my distance from the edge of this metal plate to the edge of the hole is 3 millimeters. I'm comfortable. Not that hard to do. So I'll put this block away and do some test drilling here in melamine so you can see it a little better. See how nice it fits against my thing there? So if you're coming, this was your door, for example, you'd put it up there and slide it to the position you wanted it and drill. And here we have our door drilled, and is it 3 millimeters? It is 3 millimeters, so successful there. I also put screws in here just to hold my fence in place. And I do believe that if I keep this jig up, I'm gonna make it really fancy. But right now this is good for a demo. I'm going to switch these bits out and put in the 8 millimeter bits, because I know there's people out there that are going to find good use for that 8 millimeter bit, even though I won't. I'm going to be screwing hinges on. But let me switch the bits and do that. So it's out with the 2 millimeter bits. And in with the 8 millimeter bits. And now let's drill a couple of holes in this melamine with the 8 millimeter bits in position. Same thing. Imagining this is your door, I put it into position, that's where I want it. I use 3 inches and and there it is. I drilled it. See there, I drilled all the way through. But there's my holes for the 3mm setback. Let me just demo on hardwood here. It's only fair. A little try. Here's my 3-inch mark. So here is my imaginary door. I slide her into position. Look how nice. 3mm setback, hole depth 13mm. You know what? I really do like this Hinge drilling machine. It's got everything you need. There are a few things, of course, that I mentioned, but you can get this in your shop and hook it up pretty fast. I don't think this will be a problem. I think this is probably the best, most durable unit that's out there. You'll be able to use this for years, and you'll be able to work all day long grinding holes in doors with this machine. It's durable. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy the video, do the like thing and subscribe to the channel, and then also share it with your friends. I decided to fire up the video again because there's something I didn't show you, and that's these handy clamps here for holding your door down in position when you're drilling your hole. Nice clamp for that purpose. So you put your door on and lock it in. I like that feature. Nice. Yep, you can get you one of these.